everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Desiree. Thanks for clicking on my video. I wanted to kind of share my thoughts today about the new Rimmel foundation formula and compared to the old one. If you, like me, were so sad and worried that this one was going to be discontinued because this one on clearance everywhere, and of course my first instinct was, oh my god, buy all of them in my shade. I didn't buy any of them because I thought, don't do it, they can't be getting rid of it, and luckily they did not. I don't know for sure if this is going away permanently because it was clearanced out everywhere I've been. It's been clearanced out, but it's still available on all the major retailers' websites, including Rimmel's website, and it's not on the clearance price. So I don't know if this is truly going away or not, but if you can't find it, this is a really good alternative. I cannot believe they came out with this new one and it's just as good. It has to be just as good because they kept the Lasting Finish name. So let's just talk about some of the differences and whether or not, if you loved this, whether or not you're going to like this. So the original, fun fact, this is the only foundation I've ever used and repurchased. I will use up a foundation and I'll just buy something else. There's so many different ones to try and so many different formulas and so many different brands. I want to try something else. This is one I always have on hand in my collection because it's so good. I have used it and repurchased it several times over the years. So the reason I purchased this is because I saw it, and I don't know if you guys know the brand Bourjois. I wish they would be available in the States, but back in the day, a really popular product from them on YouTube was the Serum Foundation, the Happy Light Serum. Am I making it up? No, it had a serum foundation that everybody talked about. But of course, we can never get it here. But this one says it has comfort serum in it, and it really, drew me in right away. I was like, what? I bet it's just like that Bourjois one. The first day I tried this, I freaked out because I never knew a foundation could be this good. The only other foundation I had tried before this one was the Benefit Stay Perfect foundation. They only make like 4 shades and they're all yellow. That is not a good foundation. It looks really good when you put it on if you want your skin to look yellow, but then within 2 hours, it's broken up everywhere and it looks awful. But I thought that's how foundation was. I was like, God, foundation sucks. But then I tried this and I was like, oh my God, foundation is amazing. I like putting this on with a damp sponge, but if I want all the coverage, I will use a dry sponge. This can go the fullest of the full coverage, and it does say on here that it is skin perfecting full coverage foundation. This is absolutely a foundation. I do not put concealer on with it. I do still put on a color corrector on my inner corners here because it's super dark. But on the rest of my face, I won't go in with any extra concealer because you definitely don't need it with this foundation. This could take you to the fullest coverage without feeling heavy. It's really creamy. It's super easy to blend. The shade range for this is not amazing. If you can find one in your shade, it's definitely worth picking up because it's awesome. I did comb through the ingredients on here because in case, so let me back up a second. I combed through the ingredients on here because I wanted to make sure that this was not just repackaged, which would have been totally fine with me if it was just a repackaged product, and because they added an applicator to this one. This one does not have an applicator. It's just a pour out bottle. I never get the right amount. I always pour too much or too little, so I never get the right coverage every time. I never get the same effect every time. But it is super creamy. It goes onto your face as like a nice satin finish, but it doesn't dry down all the way into your skin. I do notice if I touch my face, I can feel that I have makeup on, but it doesn't come off onto my hands. And I have fallen asleep in this makeup and it doesn't rub off all over my pillow. And I'm just going to go on and on about this. It wears all day long. It says it's 25 hour. Like I said, I have slept in it and it's really good. You can wear this, if you work long hours, 10, 12 hours a day at work, this will last you. At the end of the day, it's going to look like you just put it on. It's not going to wear away any parts of your face. It's not going to start breaking up weird. I do notice though at the end of my work day, if it's during the summer, or I work in retail, so if I was working really hard that day, of course I'm going to be sweating. It does get really dewy and glowy throughout the day or towards the end of my work day, so I do blot it a little bit, but I don't add any powder. And I don't like to set this with powder either because I just love the effect of it so much. This is definitely worth all the hype it gets, and everybody that uses this is like a holy grail for them. This is awesome. Definitely one of the best foundations I've ever tried. Like I said, I repurchased it all the time. So when this one was on the shelf, I was like, oh, thank God they didn't discontinue it. And I really thought that it was just a repackaged product with an applicator, which, like I said, would be totally fine with me because I didn't want this to go away. This one says it's a breathable foundation, long wear, and high definition medium coverage. This one on the front claims to be full coverage. This one does say medium, and I agree. I do think this is a medium coverage, but everyone has their different definition of what that is. For me, medium coverage means full coverage because that's just how I think of it. I also don't use concealer when I use this though. And like I was saying, this doesn't have an applicator or pump, so when I pour it out into my hand, sometimes I get too little or too much. But I find that once I get it on my face, I don't do another coat. I don't add any more at all. With this one, the applicator is like a giant sponge tip, as you can see. A lot of product actually comes out on it, and I find it covers your face pretty well. I don't streak it on, I just kind of dab it around. This formula is a little more watery than this one. This one is definitely really creamy. I don't want to say thick because that sounds like a negative word, but it is more, if you see these together, you're definitely going to notice this is a little thicker, but it still blends out. It's still really creamy. This one I noticed when you pull this out, I did get a drop on my dresser this morning because it is a little bit of a runnier formula. That's not a bad thing. It blends just as easy. But I do like putting this on with a dry sponge. I like using either the Eco Tools one or the Real Techniques one because I like the flat side on it. And it blends out super easy with the dry sponge. I do have on like a moisturizing primer though, so maybe that helps a little bit. But I get the fullest coverage with this, with the dry sponge. And this is also one I have to do 2 layers in order to get the coverage I would with this one with 1 layer. So the medium coverage on this, the claim on this one is definitely true. If you like the full coverage that the other one gave you, you're gonna have to use a little bit more of this one to get the same effect. But it does give you that same effect, that same smooth canvas. It looks beautiful. You don't look, like sometimes some foundations that are full or like heavy medium coverage, they tend to be a little too masking and like make a new face. This is just amazing, and I love this because I can put on 2 layers and not feel like I don't look like myself. I still look like myself. I can still see my skin, but all the flaws are covered up without extra concealer. They both have SPF 20 in them, but when I was combing through the ingredients, like I started to say earlier, I noticed the old formula has 54 ingredients and the new one only has 39. So they did leave out a lot of stuff that was in here. But they kept, I think, all the good stuff, all the essential stuff, because this is so good. It feels just like this one. Like they kept all the essence and the good parts about this one, but they left out, I guess, a lot of just unnecessary stuff. The fragrance is exactly the same. For me, it smells like baby lotion. It doesn't linger or anything. It's just like a pleasant, it's just pleasant when you're putting it on. It smells like baby lotion. And I also noticed the sunscreen that they used is different. The old one had titanium dioxide and octinoxate, and the new one only has the octinoxate. I know, you know what I'm saying. This has octinoxate only. This one has 2 different sunscreens in it. So I know some people can't wear titanium dioxide on their face, so maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But yeah, so they both have the exact same wear time. I was able to wear them all day long. One thing I do notice about this one though is that towards the end of my workday, I am like itching to get it off. Not literally itching, but you know how when you're just like, oh my god, I can't wait to wash my face. This is one throughout the workday, especially if I had a long day, I can start feeling like I'm wearing makeup and I can't wait to wash it off. This one though, I can't feel it on my face throughout the day. I do still get that little bit of dewiness, like it starts getting a little bit, I don't want to say oily, but a little bit dewy towards the end of my day, just like the original one did. But I'm not like dying to take this off at the end of the day. I can't feel it on my face. And I think that's maybe why they call it breathable. Maybe they realize this one is a little too heavy if you like overdo it. But I have nothing bad to say about this foundation at all. It didn't break up on my skin. It wore my entire workday. I've been wearing it ever since I got it and I absolutely love it. I'm glad, so glad they didn't get rid of this permanently because it's an awesome foundation, and if you're having a hard time finding this, this is a very good alternative. I can't imagine you being disappointed with this if you love the original so much. And yeah, that's my very long video about why I love these foundations, and just a quick comparison on the old versus new in case you were curious as to whether or not they were going to bring it back and whether or not you should try this one. Definitely check it out if you're interested or you love the old one. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you in another one. Goodbye.